you considered the messages your outfits send? What do you think your clothes say about you? See, style is about the clothes, but it's not really about the clothes. Every day you make choices about what you're going to wear, but what are you communicating? Welcome to Above and Beyond Style. I'm your host, Maria DiLorenzo, and in 2019, I founded MFD Style, where I provide a unique, intuitive approach to personal styling for those ready to embrace a more meaningful look. With this podcast, I'll uncover key elements of where spirituality, psychology, and style intersect, revealing how you can make intentional wardrobe choices that reflect who you really are. So let me ask you, are you ready to transform into your authentic self? Then it's time. Come with me on this journey, and together we'll take your style above and beyond style. Hey everybody, welcome back to Above and Beyond Style. Again, this is season 4, where we are talking all about change and riding the waves of change and learning to live in the midst of transition. And I am coming to you with a solo episode in the midst of this season where I'm joined by Dr. Melissa Carrick, who is this amazing second generation entrepreneur and chiropractor. She is a lifelong surfer. She has just been such an amazing conversation partner as we have really learned this whole way of life about transition and change, and also to talk about it within the whole construct of style, as someone who has worked with me in the style space and as a former client of mine. So I wanted to just take a pause really in the midst of this season with Missy for this episode to just talk to you a minute, because I am actually on the brink of some interesting pieces of change. And yes, there are style pieces of this I also want to talk about and explore with you. So it just kind of felt like the right moment to pause and do a brief episode of just me to talk to you about my own ways that I am learning to go above and beyond style and have this conversation with you about some things. So as you hopefully know, if you haven't been listening to the podcast, or I don't know if you subscribe to my emails or follow along on my blog, but I sold my condo several months ago, earlier part of 2023, in an effort to kind of uproot my life, really, to kind of find the new next thing in the way of life that I wanted, that would be a bit more vibrant, that would feel a bit fuller, that would just have more abundance in it. And I know that seems maybe a little abstract, but it got to a point for me, and maybe you can resonate with this too. After COVID, I just sort of felt like my life got really insular and small. And I didn't love that feeling. And I think among many reasons and many factors, I came to this conclusion that if I needed to find that kind of vibrancy and abundance, I was going to have to change something big. So here I am. I sold my house. I've been living on an interim basis with a very good friend in the Boston area. And I really dedicated what I initially thought would be 3 to 4 months, but now it's becoming the better part of this year and likely into 2024 to travel, to really explore and take some adventure and just sort of see what's out there, because I just got to this place where I wasn't even really clear about where I wanted to go. And I didn't know how you could possibly make that decision without seeing a few places or experimenting with a few places. And likewise, it's given me this great excuse to reconnect with people I haven't seen in some better part of 10 years, others that I've just lost touch with, or, we don't live in the same part of the country anymore, so it just got harder to visit or connect. And so this time has been such a joy and privilege, because I've been able then to reconnect with them and see their lives, meet their people, go and see where they go to the grocery store, or, where their local post office is, or where do they walk to drop off their kids at school, or, whatever the circumstances were. It just felt like I got a little glimpse of different people's lives in a way that I just hadn't had time for and hadn't really prioritized in the past. So it's been really good, because I've been able to see a lot of different places. And in that, it's been a nice little barometer for me to check and see how does it feel to be here? How does it feel to, I don't know, what does this city bring for me? Do I feel any kind of spark or interest or enthusiasm being here? And that's been really fun. But I also feel like as I'm about to do a really big adventure, which I'll tell you more about, I also feel like it's an important juncture for me to talk about the challenge that's related to change. And anytime you're in transition and you're learning how to kind of navigate new waters or a place you haven't been, to just really validate for anybody that's out there that there's a lot of things that are unseen or unknown, and you can't really know until you're doing it. And I think in many ways that is discomfort that has come forward and helps us understand what it is about ourselves and why we tend to really stay with the things that are comfortable for us. Because it's just easier, isn't it, to stay in those circles of friends or those places where you go to dinner or even just the lifestyle that you lead. Sometimes the known is easier than the unknown, even if it's a known entity that you don't really want. And I think for me, as I've gotten to explore and to know some of these places, it's still uncomfortable going to places you've not been before, right? As adventurous and magical and fun as it can be, and it is. I don't want to minimize the privilege or the amazing time and energy and effort that I've been able to take and move towards this. But it still can be hard. There's still challenge in recalibrating every time you sleep in a new bed or shower in a different shower, change time zones, eat different food. There's all sorts of different factors around weather and just the conditions of your life that you're trying to manage and maneuver around. And every time you change a physical location, you're doing that. And it's been really interesting to sort of watch myself go through that as I've been all over the United States. And now I'm taking a very big adventure across the pond, as they would say, and going to Europe for about 6 weeks. And this was something that I had really put on my bucket list really early on when I decided to sell my home and I would be untethered to any one place or location. I felt like, wouldn't this be a really cool time, a really amazing opportunity to go someplace I've not been in over 30 years and just experience life in a different country? The United States is amazing for lots of different reasons, and I don't think I have to come on here and prove that to anyone, that there are privileges and rights here that not every country has in this large globe that we live in. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes it's interesting and helpful to get different perspectives, to just understand a different way of life. And I think for me, as someone who is really trying to explore a different lifestyle and a way of life that could be anywhere, really, what would it feel like to be in an entirely different country, some even that don't even speak English as their predominant first language? And what would it be like to just go about life the way they do in whatever country that I'm in, and observe and watch and sort of see how people live? Notice the things that they prioritize, the way that they talk to each other, the ways that they treat one another, how they shop, how they eat, how they drink, how they laugh. I mean, there's just so much there that, again, not to make it be some utopian society, but that there's something to be said for going to a place that is not your own and just allowing it to kind of absorb into your cells, right? Maybe not through osmosis, but maybe. And to just sit there and kind of be in the midst of this lifestyle and see how it feels. I talk with my clients all the time about wardrobe is one of those things that you can look at clothes all day long, but until you try it on or put it on your body, you have no idea how it actually feels to be in those clothes. And do you notice any kind of change? Is there something there that you can point to and say, this makes me feel better, this doesn't? This actually makes me feel incredible, this doesn't. To have that sense of comparison is really important. And I think that whole process of clothing and wardrobe has given me such a beautiful kind of foundation for what I'm about to go into, because that groundwork for trying something on is going to serve me. But that doesn't come very easily. I don't want to paint this picture of like, oh, it's so simple to just get on a plane and go someplace and live in another country for several weeks. Maybe that comes easy to you, but it doesn't come easy to me. I'm someone who really enjoys my creature comforts, my routine, a sense of predictability and regular kind of things that are on the schedule. And if I've learned anything over these last several months of travel, unpredictability is kind of the point. It's kind of the whole reason you do stuff. That it's really fun to sort of see what comes up. And yes, of course, you can make a reservation for a certain meal or a certain location you want to visit, or, just making sure you have your kind of hit list things that you want to make sure to do or see while you're in a certain place. Of course, we all do that. But what would it be like to really try on a place and really try on a location in a way that you get to see and feel and experience it as the people who live there do? And I think for me, as I'm about to go into this adventure, going to Europe, I am looking forward to how it feels for me to try that place on. I don't necessarily have an intention of moving there, but who knows? The world is my oyster in that way. And I recognize that's also a privilege, that I am able to entertain those types of ideas because I'm not tethered to the United States for any one particular reason. Certainly family and friends that are here, but can I make friends in other places? Aren't the communication and technology tools now so advanced that I could really be in touch with anyone I love in a moment's notice? You have to remember that this day and age, the connection between places is really incredible. And I didn't grow up in that kind of world where you could do those types of things. It's really only been in the last 30 years that those types of advances have been made. So I don't know what it's like to live in a world in that way, to experience a place and a culture and a life that is so far from where I am presently, just for comparison's sake, just to see how it goes, just to try it on. And let me tell you, the wardrobe component of this whole adventure of packing and traveling and trying to envision myself in the variety of places I intend to be has also been really fun. I work with clients a lot about building capsule wardrobes or purposeful wardrobes that they can use for all these different scenarios or circumstances within their life. And being able to pack in an intentional way for a pretty long trip. Now, granted, I will have laundry and the ability to wash clothes, so that helps tremendously. But to be able to be really clear about what I want to bring along with me, what's the vibe of the clothing I want to wear when I'm in these places, what will feel like me. Because when I physically have all of my external surroundings feel and look and will be so different, my clothes can actually be one of those things that can anchor myself into myself. That's the thing that is recognizable. It's the thing that helps me be me. And knowing that I can be me anywhere, wherever I place myself. And that to me feels like a really important lesson to go into this next adventure. And if you're thinking about transition, or you're in the midst of change and transition, and we're learning to ride these waves of unpredictable waters and the things that can come up and challenge us, don't we want to anchor ourselves in something that actually can serve us? And I believe that about wardrobe. That might seem trivial or trite to you when you think about, gosh, they're just clothes. I'm just going to put them in a bag and I'm going to wear them for a few weeks. Yes, and they're also going to be a point of reference for me, a way for me to feel good, a way for me to feel like myself, a way for me to present my best version of myself in a new place where I'm going to be meeting new people and I'm going to be having new experiences. And it's more than just having Instagrammable moments or wearing a really cute outfit when I'm in a beautiful place with beautiful backgrounds. Yes, certainly that's part of it. But it's really about allowing me to use my wardrobe as a tool for support. I've talked about it a million times. And if you're just learning and just connecting with me here, You know that I feel strongly that wardrobe is just more than things you put on your body. It says something about you. It says something about what you might need in any given moment. And if we can leverage those choices to help us, particularly when I might be nervous or afraid or a little lonely. I mean, I don't know the kind of emotions I might feel when I'm abroad. I just know that the things that I'm bringing along with me will help ground me. Now, let's say my luggage gets lost. I don't want this to happen. I'm certainly not inviting in that energy. But what happens if the clothes go somewhere else and I have to show up in this foreign place without these clothes? Well, I think it's also a reminder that though clothes are the tool, the true sense of being at home or being safe and secure really resides within myself. And I'm going to get a really good test at that over the next several weeks. So I don't know how that's going to go. I'm not saying it'll be perfect or that I have this down perfectly or that, man, I've got this in the bag. I'm actually being really honest with you about, I don't know. There's a lot of question marks as I look ahead. I'm prepping myself as best as I can. I don't know the outcomes, but I do know that a goal I have is to return from this trip and to just feel proud of myself. Proud that I tried, proud that I did what I could do, and proud that I gave it a shot. That there are a lot of folks and a lot of people in this world that might be too afraid to give it a try. And I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be oriented towards fear. I want to be oriented towards love and opportunity and trust. Trust that I am spiritually supported and divinely guided in this life. Trust that I am loved and secure within myself, and just trust that any adventure that is ahead of me is for me. And that ultimately is the purpose of this entire season about change. That style and the waves and all the things that are coming along with change and transition are for us. It's for us to live our lives more fully. And I hope that I will have an opportunity to share with you more, maybe live, about how things are going there. Missy and I will continue to record and we'll continue to put out episodes, likely through the beginning of the new year, or maybe even just the end of 2023. But you'll hear from me, and I hope you'll follow along. But from one fellow traveler and style enthusiast and risk taker, I just wanted to pause and say, send me some good vibes. Let's hope that this adventure and this big wave that I'm about to go for is going to be for my benefit. And I have to trust that any adventure, any lesson along the way is ultimately for my growth and purpose on this earth. So thanks for following along, friends, and I look forward to sharing with you all the next steps. Thanks so much for listening today. If you enjoyed what you've heard, I would appreciate you taking the time to leave a review on the podcasting platform you're using and share this episode with others who you think might really enjoy these conversations about personal style. For more information all about MFD Style services, you can find me on the web at mfdstyle.com, on Instagram at mfd_style, where I post almost 5 days a week, or send me an email at maria@mfdstyle.com. I also have a weekly email I send to subscribers, so I will include the link to that sign up in the show notes. So until next time, friends, remember to love yourself and then love yourself some more.